The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Do the Vancouver Canucks need to be more like Tyler Myers? Are you kidding? What are we on, man? We're going to tell you all about that next year on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
A happy Friday, Canucks fans. I'm Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, and also Canucks Raider over at Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into this Friday edition of the Locked On Canucks, we got to thank you for tuning into us. Whether you're an everyday or an occasional listener, no matter when you tune in, we appreciate the heck out of you. If you haven't done so already, make sure you go subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. I also got to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download that Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Coming up on today's episode of Locked On Canucks. Yeah, the Canucks lost last night. Do we really care? No, we don't, man, because the Canucks, they're still one of the best teams in the NHL, but guess what? They're still a little soft, if you will. And we'll tell you why the Canucks need to be more like Tyler Myers. I think you might be able to tie some dots together there. Also on today's show, got to shout out a couple beauties, okay? And Beggsy's beauties. And then finally want to get to Linus Karlsson's NHL debut and a bit more on your Abbotsford Canucks. But before we do that, some guy who definitely doesn't belong on the farm team, man. Kyle Bhawan, you're a rock star here on Locked On Canucks. How you doing, brother?
A rock star, man. Hey, one day, man. One day we will be rock stars, man. Hey, one day. We're going to sell out Brew Hall, man. I think we got to do a live show at Brew Hall when the time is right. That place is dope, for real. Anyways, Kyle Bhawan, Trevor Beggs, your Canucks everyday supplied here. And your Canucks, man, they lose to the Calgary Flames 5-2. And I feel as if hockey fans of strong teams use this term, and this is so new to me, right? It's been a while since we've been a strong team, right? But I'm hearing that the Canucks only lost because of the schedule. Okay, they're calling this a scheduled loss. That is something else. Again, Trevor said it. He said he's never been quote-unquote happier / feeling good after a loss as he did yesterday against the Calgary Flames. And I feel as if I felt what you were saying, but I was also kind of like not tired of the Canucks, but I've had a lot of Canucks this year, and just to go through what happened on Wednesday in Vancouver against New York, it was kind of not surprising to see this team not show up on Thursday, like right after. You know what it kind of reminded me of? Do you remember when the Canucks beat Chicago in Game 7 in 2011, and then 2 days later they played Nashville in Game 1? I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
In round 2.
Yeah.
It just felt like that.
I do remember that,
The energy wasn't there, and the boys were gassed, and the boys also didn't do a lot of standing up for each other, okay? For real. In one game, we had Miller, Hughes, and Pettersson. I wouldn't say get destroyed, but they were taken down. They were targeted. I'll use that word. They were targeted, and very little pushback from the Vancouver Canucks. I've said it in the past, I think I called them soft. I had to take that back because, I don't know, it was just a bit of a hypocritical thing to say, and I don't think I completely meant it, but I do think it's time to talk about that, man, and just have a serious conversation about it and get to a conclusion and see if the Canucks can actually fix that this season, or is that just something that they have to learn through experience? Again, this roster, this core hasn't been through the playoffs. Is that something that's unlocked when one of those things happen, Anywho, Trevor, take it away.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was trying to dive into the numbers a bit on hits and whatnot. And honestly, hits I don't think do a great job of saying like, oh, this team's tough and they stand up for each other. But it's interesting. I wouldn't have thought this, but the Canucks right now actually rank 4th overall in the NHL in hits. They have 330 hits. It's the 4th highest total in the league. It trails only Montreal, Vegas, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And in terms of hits per 60, let's take a look at that. They're still 4th overall as well. So again, the Canucks are throwing the body around this year. But unlike past years, I think we saw like in the Michael Del Zotto era, the Canucks and Del Zotto were league leaders in hits, but it's because they never had the puck and they were consistently chasing. Now it's a bit different. It's like the Canucks are finding ways to become physical, but they're still controlling possession, or at least kind of breaking even there and winning that high danger chance battle. Now, I think part of it is, we see guys like Pettersson throwing the body around. I think he threw a hit. I can't remember which New York Islander he hit the other night, but he kind of got the body on. I think it was Romanov at center
Bro,
ice.
even
But kind of like
yesterday,
you said,
even yesterday against Uyghur. Sorry to cut you off, but I got to bring that up.
Yeah.
I think against Uyghur, he did one of those when he leans on a player, but he kind of jumps up and kind of smokes the guy behind him. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but Pettersson does that sometimes, and he's a strong guy, and he knocked Uyghur down. And just to connect what you said about the Canucks being fourth in hits to me taking back my statement of the team being soft. Like, that's why they have been playing harder, in general. But I'm just coming from the point where I think it's really, really important for this team, especially in games where they don't have their legs, to make sure they're standing up for each other and maybe use that as fuel to get involved in games. And I do think the Canucks are lacking on that because I've seen it multiple times already this year, and even going into yesterday, the three best players in hockey are on your team. They're leading the league in points at that time. It was talked about. The Canucks are sexy again. And in that same game, after those three, were just at the top of the point standings, they all got targeted and taken down and taken advantage of. And again, very little pushback. And I have a problem with that.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think Pettersson took a big hit from Zadorov, and Tyler Myers got a little cross-check in, but it wasn't a ton. But let's tie it back into Tyler Myers quick, because we do talk about how the Canucks need to be more like Tyler Myers. That was kind of the bold take off the top, but I think a lot of that is, Myers is bringing that physicality right now. He's one of the few guys who is bringing that physicality now. I think for a guy like Myers, he's really a bottom pairing defenseman. You'd almost like to see even a bit more bite out of his game. But his bite per 60 is more furious than most of the Canucks right now. And Tyler Myers, to his credit, I think he's playing his best hockey as a Vancouver Canuck right now. He's limiting the mistakes. I thought he stepped up last night in a game where, again, you got Juleson and Freeman playing minutes out there for your team, and Myers looked comfortable as a top four defenseman last night. Actually, if you look at kind of the underlying numbers behind the game, it was Ian Cole and Tyler Myers analytically were the best players last night. And I think that matches kind of what I saw on the ice last night. Hughes and Hronek, they were on the ice. Well, Hughes was on the ice for 2 goals against, Hronek for 1 goal against. They spent a lot of the evening in their own zone. But Tyler Myers, he's bringing it right now. He's playing physical. He's playing relatively mistake-free hockey. There's certainly the puck decisions for him I don't think will ever be as sharp as they were when he was a rookie. Like, I think there was one play in the Islanders game where he had the chance to get the puck up the ice quick, but he waited, and then the Islanders read the play and picked it off. So, again, not the perfect player, but he's playing with physicality. He's limiting the mistakes. And even those one night last night, he looked decent in the top 4 role. Not saying he should stay there. Just saying, though, the Canucks could use a little bit more Tyler Myers bite in their lineup.
Well, to connect Tyler Myers to the start of this conversation, I mean, he did it in another way. When I'm saying that, I'm alluding to the fact that I understand completely that when guys like Miller get hit, or Pettersson get hit, there's a chance that Mikheyev's on the ice, Kuzmenko's on the ice, Quinn Hughes is on the ice, Brock Besser's on the ice. I know those guys are not going to do anything. I know. But another way to push back is to, have those guys on your team, like the Myers or the Joshuas, the et ceteras, the Laffertys, take runs at their best players. And we saw Myers do that yesterday in the third period, and it made me feel away. It really did. I think the Canucks might have got scored on that shift, if I'm correct. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But or took a penalty, so it was probably not magnified a lot. But he smoked. How do you say it, man? He sounds like Mangiapane, right? That's his name? Mangiapane?
Mangiapane.
That guy's a good player, man. That guy's a good player. And yeah, just some of that, if they're going to go after our star players, we got to go after their star players. It's just the truth. Simple as that. That's the way it goes, man. It's the way it goes. And again, this team kind of sort of just got here, okay? Back to being important. And maybe it's a thing that changes within this team, again, the act of standing up for each other more. Hey, if you're going to go after our stars, we're going to go after your stars. Maybe that comes together via trade acquisition, but a huge part of me just thinks that happens after a couple playoff rounds, after some experience when a lot of the games really matter and it's really intense and playoff hockey is now gained, and it could just be an experience thing, man, for real.
Yeah, and you know what? I will say to this point, one of the reasons the Canucks are one of the league leaders in hits this season is because some of their stars are throwing the body around, and namely Elias Pettersson. I mean, Well, let me list you the top 5 Canucks in terms of hits right now. Dakota Joshua, the runaway leader with 49 hits. JT Miller next with 36. Phil DiGiuseppe in third with 24. Myers in fourth with 23. And Elias Pettersson is fifth on the Canucks with 22 hits this season. And I think we've seen it. We've seen it on a number of occasions. Pettersson throw the body and not just kind of like finishing his check in the corner, but surprise guys, right? And I think that's why a Pettersson hit is so impactful. But again, Myers is right near the top of that list. He is being physical. Even if you like to see him be more physical, I think he's doing what he can right now to have an impact. And like you said, Kyle, on a night last night where the boys need a bit of a spark, I think Tyler Myers tried to provide that by being a bit physical. Mangiapane.
Yeah, he tried. It didn't succeed. It happens. And just overall, though, I want to know like your answer to it. Like I've been being pretty direct here, like saying that that's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not good enough to see Quinn Hughes get hit. And then I know DiGiuseppe tried to do something, but he didn't want to take the penalty, so he didn't really do something. And then a couple minutes later, Hronek, after having a 2.5-minute shift, is the one to do something, or try to do something.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm pretty happy that the ref stepped in and split that apart because, again, you're having a very, very tired, fatigued Hronek tangled up with, I think it was Pospisil at the time, and that guy seems to have a lot of bite to him. And, yeah, man, is it a protection thing? Maybe, but again, it just more stems from that not being good enough, okay? I've never played hockey before. You know what? I've actually stood up for my teammates in ball hockey, okay? I'm one of those guys. I've been punched in the face a lot. I didn't throw a lot of punches, but, I'm just in there. Got to get in there. I just want to see a little bit more of that. And some, quote-unquote, targeting is a harsh word, but of our own when it comes to teams taking advantage of our stars not being stood up for. Hey, we got to do the same back to them. So maybe that will have them lay off a bit, right? Because if other teams recognize that the best players on this team aren't being quote-unquote protected, dude, they're going to take runs because that's the way to beat the Canucks. It's just the truth.
Yeah. I would say right now that, again, amazing start for the Canucks. If there's 3 issues that are still standing out to me, it's A, team defense. It's better, but it's being masked a bit by goaltending. B is the penalty kill. I would argue the penalty kill. I know Talkett say the numbers don't look good, but I like what we're doing. I still think the penalty kill has room to improve. I don't think they've been great. Again, it's been masked by goaltending. And C, I say team toughness. I do think there is a bit of hesitation in terms of standing up for each other. It's certainly better than in years past, but I still think they're lacking team toughness overall. Maybe let us know in the comments what you think is the biggest weakness on the Canucks right now. And also, do you think the Canucks are lacking team toughness? On the other side, this guy's got a bit of bite to his game. I want to highlight one Canuck who has really impressed me lately in the segment we call Beggsy's Beauty. But before we do that, I got to let you know that, buying tickets at the last minute, it stresses me out, man. Or at least it used to stress me out before I started using Game Time. Game Time, they got my back. I get these emails from Nicole at Game Time, and she's always teasing me with concerts and events this week in my area. What's even better than that is that Game Time offers a lowest price guarantee along with event protection cancellation. It doesn't end there, baby. You can also get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Now, I have no choice but to get off my hairy rear end and go check out a local show on a Friday night. So make sure you snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Okay, you're back on another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name's Kyle Bhawan. That right there is Trevor Beggs. More importantly, this is the show that gives you your Canucks. Yes, your Canucks every day. Hit the like and subscribe button if you did enjoy the show. And man, we haven't talked about it in quite some time, yo. Shout out to the OGs, first of all. The OGs get the first amount of love on this show, okay? You know who you are. We're not here without you. Speaking of being here, a lot more people watching the show, man, and we're blessed, man. We're blessed. Like I said, man, a couple days ago, I was living the dream. I was drunk. I was calling my mom at the Canuck game. I'm doing it. I'm doing what I've always wanted to do, and again, a big part of it is because of the new listenership and the people over here at Locked On, man. For real, we blessed, Trevor.
Yeah, we really are blessed. When you called your mom, did she know that you were sloshed at the Canucks game?
No, but she could hear that I was at the Canuck game. Like she mentioned it first because I didn't even tell him I was at the Canuck game. It's just one of those moments, man. One of those emotional moments. Okay, Trevor, come on, keep it private, bro. Keep it private. Anyways, Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs again on Locked On Canucks, giving you this, and I also think this is a really ironic episode because we're only like 46 days removed from what, like the end of September, and I didn't think we were going to use the term again, a scheduled loss, and that's what we received from the Calgary Flames. Blame the NHL, not our effort, and I'm gonna assume that the guy or the couple guys that you're gonna call out here in a good way on Beggsy's beauties didn't lack effort yesterday in a game that, I don't know, the boys were gassed, man. A lot of people didn't try yesterday, okay? It is what it is. Anyways, let's head to it. Beggsy's beauties.
Well, first and foremost, I got to shout out. We talked about being emotional, Kyle. I got a little emotional when Nils Höglander got inserted back into the lineup, okay? Because, and we talked about on this show, I understood the decision to take him out of the lineup when Blucher came back. I think Beauvillier is more of a mistake-free player. But if you want upside, baby, you got to go with Nils Höglander, okay? Because this guy now has 4 goals, 6 points in 15 games this season.
Mm-hmm.
And he's generally looked pretty damn solid when he's been in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's still got some young guy mistakes in this game, some errant passes, maybe trying to do too much on his own, maybe icing the puck when he shouldn't. He's still got some mistakes in his game, okay? But this guy's got flash, he's got dangles, and he's got game. And he's not afraid to mix it up either, I wouldn't say he's in there really, starting things and getting a scrum going, but he's taking shots at guys,
He is.
But most importantly, he is finding the back of the net and he's being creative in the offensive zone. And again, he's given the Canucks a secondary scoring boost. I think when he came into the NHL, we saw this guy as, a top 6 guy because that's how he started his NHL career. And right now, yeah, he's playing on the 4th line, but what matters is he's making an impact. Okay. He's might be losing the scoring chance battle a little bit, but I mean, the Canucks are drastically outscoring the opposition when Nils Höglander has been on the ice. I've liked a lot about his game so far. I thought he was the best Canuck against the Calgary Flames. And, I get it. The Canucks have forward depth, and that's a good thing. I don't want to see Nils Höglander come out of the lineup because he's a fun player, and I think he makes a difference when he's on the ice.
Yeah, dude, and this guy can do it individually, a.k.a. his effort is always there. I don't feel as if he gets a little thrown off about where he's in the lineup. And a lot of that has to do with him, still trying to become a full-time NHLer, He has a lot to play for, where I'm looking at the other side. And this is going to a dark place now, but, bro, Beauvillier's just been so boring. I don't care if you're the safer player, bro. If somebody's better than you, like Höglander's playing a lot better than you because he's more noticeable than you. I don't think just because the Canucks have to prop you up and boost your trade value because they need to really replace Juleson or Friedman in immediacy, right? Because Soucy's out for 8 weeks. I don't care that you have to be some sort of used as a prop. They can't afford to take this guy out of the lineup, make him a healthy scratch because it's gonna look bad optically for his trade value. I don't care. The Canucks need to win games. All right. They need people bought in, and I know. I'm calling it right now. Bluger, Lafferty, and Höglander is going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. I already know it. Those 3 are going to make... Bluger's too smart, and Lafferty and Höglander kind of play similar. They play reckless. They play right at you and have a little bit of skill. Speaking of skill, Höglander kind of has a lot of it. That was a beautiful deflection by him yesterday. And I saw him make a couple plays where he looked high-end, yo. He was into it. Now, that all being said, you said he was the best Canuck yesterday? Bro, man. Yo, forgive me, okay? It is what it is. I got to say this. And if Tyler Myers watches this, I'm not even in the same room as him, but I guarantee he would punch me in the face, okay? For real. Because he is the guy that I'm choosing as my favorite Canuck from last night. I feel as if he played a really clean game. He made some big checks. Again, he nailed Majniapani. He's been a lot better than I thought he could ever be. I think that's the easiest way to say it because I had to say something that powerful because it's the truth. Because a couple weeks ago, I'm saying healthy scratch. 7-8 weeks ago, I'm talking waive this guy. The Canucks need Tyler Myers to play like this, because if that's the case and he can consistently do this, which is just play clean, simple, and, use his attributes after doing those two things, playing clean and simple, bro, that's an addition. That's an addition for this team.
Yeah, and no, I don't. There haven't been many times in Vancouver where I've been a fan of what Tyler Myers has brought to the table. But the last few games I've definitely been a fan of what he's done.
Hey, don't say few. Say 8 or 9, bro. There's no case.
Maybe
I
the
feel
last
as
8 or 9 games. Okay.
Let's break it down.
Let's take it one step further. Even this, like you said, you talk about him being a healthy scratch, and he was really bad there for a stretch, like in games kind of 3, maybe 3 through 7. But aside from that, Tyler Myers has played good hockey this season.
Yeah.
Again, the mistakes are still there. He is by no means worth $6 million, but as a guy who, at true value is probably like maybe $1.5 million, like he's looked good in a bottom pairing role, which is kind of what we thought would happen if he ever got the chance to be a third pairing defender for the Vancouver Canucks. And again, to his credit, looked good in a top 4 role last night.
Yeah. That being said, I don't want to really see him there. Hence why I think Alvin. Hence why I think Alvin and Rutherford, and it might be guaranteed. Let's say Hirose comes in tomorrow and there's still mistakes happening. I could see this team making a trade ASAP, for real. Because Juleson is not that guy. Juleson makes mistakes all the time. Speaking of mistakes, Tyler Myers in the beginning of the season was making a ton of mistakes for the first 5 years, 4 years. How long has he been here for? Like he's been doing that throughout his whole career.
Yeah, I think he came the same time as JT Miller, right? So this would be his 5th season in Vancouver. Yeah, last year, the 5-year deal.
So just remember.
Crazy.
After was it the Tampa game, the Philadelphia game, where he really sucked? Or was it the Nashville game? I don't know. Him and Tocchet went for a walk and talk. One of those things, man. You already know how I feel about walk and talks, right? Engages the brain. That's when you really get some damage done, okay? If you're walking with a good pal and y'all having a strong conversation, expect your life to change, okay? And I think Tyler Myers' life changed. I don't know what do you think Tocchet told him? It could be as simple as, bro, stop doing too much and you'll be a way better hockey player. But maybe Tocchet said it with more aggression and more intelligence, and it just kind of stuck. And it kind of stuck,
Yeah, I think Tocchet played with a lot of POS defensemen back in his time, so I wouldn't be surprised if the messaging was, get meaner and stop trying to do too much.
Cool.
Simple as that. Now, you kind of mentioned him, and I'll mention one more time before we get to segment 3. Bit of a tie into what we're going to talk about with Linus Karlsson and the Abbotsford Canucks. Noah Juleson, not only does he not look good, he's statistically been one of the worst skaters in the NHL this season.
Whoa.
So I've mentioned these guys before, the hockeystatcards.com leaderboards. It helps Quinn Hughes' heart case on that board, although he slipped again after last night. But in terms of bottom average game score, the rankings include in the bottom 10, 5 San Jose Sharks, Jake McCabe of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Ilya Lyubushkin of the Anaheim Ducks, Connor Murphy of the Chicago Blackhawks. But the guy with the 5th worst average game score this season is Noah Juleson. Mm-hmm. And the only guys ahead of him are all with the San Jose Sharks.
Whoa.
Noah Juleson has not looked good.
Whoa.
He's not looked good in any way, shape, or form.
No, he hasn't, bro.
I don't want to harp on the guy because he's an Abbotsford native, but man, oh man, like he just looks unconfident with the puck. It looks like he's, kind of waiting to make a mistake when he's out there. Just have not liked anything that he's brought to the table so far.
None of his
Cole
pinches.
McWard looked better in his 5 games last season than Noah Juleson's look right now.
None of his pinches are working. He's just too much in his head, bro. This moment is too big for him right now. And Abbotsford is definitely best for him, Not just based on skill, but go find your game, bro. Go find your game, because this is like Tyler Myers bad. He reminds me of Tyler Myers right now. Like, you just making mistake after mistake after mistake, and the Vancouver Canucks again. They just started winning games. They still need to make things easy for themselves. I think all good teams definitely do that. And when you're just turning over pucks, especially on the second leg of a back-to-back, it's not going to be good, especially when you're already dealing with injuries as well. A lot of injuries right now in the Vancouver Canucks. It's just the truth. Key players. Okay, so before we get to segment 3, though, Akito. He's going in, and it's time to see it because of the poise. I think one thing that we can say highly about Akito, I know he only played a handful of games last year, was the fact that he kind of reminded people of Chris Tanev, like just the patience, the poise. He's not forcing things. You look at that play where Juleson coughed up the puck. Like, Why did he put it up the boards right away? He could have just kept backpedaling with the puck and just relaxed, you know? There's nothing going on. Just little things like that. And the Canucks overall just, any team across the league is a better team when they're more poised.
Yeah, 100%. And there are some poise with guys down in the Abbotsford Canucks. So in the final segment of the show, let's talk a little bit about those Abbotsford Canucks. Haven't mentioned them in a few episodes at least, because one of the Abbotsford Canucks made his NHL debut last night. Before we do that, I got to let you know that you and I, we spend a lot of time talking together. We get fired up together on wins and losses, who starts and who sits. I'm thankful for that connection that we have. And today, I want our chat to be a little more personal. I just learned that you can get a 1-year supply on ED medications. Boing. You realize what that means? Bring on extended travel, bring on the next natural disaster or supply chain issue. You are covered, my friend. You don't have to worry about whether or not you can refill your generics for Cialis, Viagra, or Rivatio. And this is possible because of our friends at Jace Medical. Go online right now at jacemedical.com to receive your 12-month supply on your daily medication. Remember to use promo code LOCKEDON at checkout for a discount as well. A verified customer had this to say about Jace. I am thankful for this service. Supply chain issues caused me to cut my pills in half just to have it. I ordered most of my daily meds with a year's supply. I also ordered an antibiotic kit. I feel secure now. Prices are lower than local pharmacies, and I highly recommend this for everyone. If you or someone you love would like to get some peace of mind by having a year's supply of any daily medication, just go to jacemedical.com to see if it's offered for you. Remember to use promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase.
Okay. We back on another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name's Kyle Bhawan. That right there is Trevor Beggs. Man, oh man, again, this is the show that gives you your Canucks every day. And we feeling good. We feeling happy. And we are accepting that this was, again, a scheduled loss. Okay, I'm making a shirt, dude. I'm making the shirt, okay? Blame the NHL. The Canucks are... what's their record right now? Is it 12-4-1? That's the record right now? We're feeling good. We're feeling happy. Who cares that we lost to the Calgary Flames? It happens, okay? Straight up.
It's all good, baby. It's all good. I've never been happier after a Canucks loss to the Flames before. Like I said, life's good right now. The Canucks are 12-4-1, man. How can we even complain, okay?
Straight up, man. Straight up. And before you get into your Abbotsford Canucks report, I didn't do this yesterday, and I want to forgive myself. I want to ask for forgiveness. And, I didn't ask you how you were doing, bro. For real. You had a long night yesterday. I forgot to ask you the question. And you know what we promote on this show, man. It's the most important thing that we promote on the show. For real. You got to ask your people every day, no matter what, how they're doing. Why the F not? Beggsy, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, bro. Been a long week. Been lacking the sleep due to being downtown with you and baby getting up 5 times tonight. But looking forward to the weekend, baby. And another Canucks game against the Seattle Kraken. Okay, that Flames game, can't be mad about the loss. I'll be a little bit more disappointed if they drop 2 in a row and lose to the Kraken.
Do you think there's a chance that this is like a FanDuel type of question, right? Do you think there's a small chance that, like, Karlsson doesn't play tomorrow and maybe, like, Arshdeep Bains gets called up or something, you know?
I think it's possible. So just to tie it back to the Abbotsford Canucks here, I think one of the reasons why Arshdeep didn't get called up and Linus did, I think it's because there's a lot of injuries down there right now, and Arshdeep Bains is just playing such a key role for the Abbotsford Canucks. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, Linus Karlsson got the call up, but Arshdeep Bains has been the better player for Abbotsford this season. Like right now, the Abbotsford Canucks are missing Tristan Nielsen, who's been missing since one of the first games of the season, Vasily Podkolzin, John Stevens, and then their captain, Chase Wooters. So, yeah, there's been some injuries down. Like, the Canucks have been fairly healthy, but there's been some injuries down in the farm. I mean, those are 4 fairly prominent forwards for the Abbotsford Canucks. Now, the Abbotsford Canucks did also, aside from Linus Karlsson getting the recall to Vancouver, they did also send some guys down to the ECHL. So even Ben Lipka from the Abbotsford News is reporting or theorizing that, some of the injured players may be ready to return this weekend. So yeah, and interesting times there on the farm. Again, Arshdeep Bains, he's going to get his chance at some point. He's playing too damn well. Neil Zaman also lighting up the score sheet, 7 goals, 14 points in 13 games. Sheldon Dry still doing his thing as well. And I got to say, a special shout out to Atu Ratu, who's picked it up recently. Had a slow start to the season, but he's now up to 3 goals, 8 points in 13 games on the season as well. But Linus Karlsson's first game last night, I think in general that line had energy. I don't know if Linus Karlsson did anything special that really stood out to me, but happy to see the guy get his chance, especially with Jonathan Dahlin. I know we were all ripping that trade at the time, and now Jonathan Dahlin's back in second tier Sweden, whereas Linus Karlsson's playing in the NHL. So that's kind of a cool story too.
It would have been interesting / full circle to see Arshdeep get the call up yesterday because of where we were playing as well. It just would have been one of those moments. And
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from though. Like, okay, well, when they call Arshdeep up, they want it to be an extended look because of what he's doing in Abbotsford. They want to keep him rolling, all that stuff. But I don't know. Like, well, is the trade off really that much more important than helping your team pick up an NHL victory? You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying,
Yeah.
bro? Because he's rolling right now, man. I think he could have helped us. Could have helped us more than Karlsson. But yeah, congratulations to Karlsson and go Canucks, man. Go Canucks. It would have just been the most Punjabi week of all time if Arshdeep Bains got called up, bro. Dude, honestly, bro, the streets of Surrey would have been filled up with ball hockey players playing on the streets, Straight up, bro. Ball hockey's a different game, man. Ball hockey's a different game. Anyways, Locked On Canucks, it's a different type of show. We were all over the place today, man. We were all over the place, and that's what happens sometimes, okay? They used to call us Mr. 420, okay? Both of us. Speaking of which, Snoop Dogg, he put out a statement today. This guy retired
Yeah.
from smoking weed. He retired from smoking weed today. He put out a statement. Like, that's incredible, dude. That's
Yeah, that's
nuts.
something else, man. There's for those who partake, I think everyone's got to know their limit, and maybe Snoop Dogg's reached his after decades of copious cannabis consumption. I mean, yeah, Kyle, you said that we're both called Mr. 420. I used to have a nickname. They used to call me Mayor McWeed, but now I'm a responsible dad, so got to find that happy balance in life, no matter who you are. Maybe that happy balance is 0. Maybe that happy balance is 10 vegetables a day, but whatever it is, no matter who you are, you got to find that balance. And we try to find that balance between Canucks talk, entertainment, and a bit of BS here on Locked On Canucks. That's another episode, another week in the books for the people, especially you listening right now. We love you, your family, and your dog. We appreciate you for being part of the Locked On Canucks family. Kyle, you got to say anything to the people before we head out of here?
Go Canucks, go, man. Again, man, embrace the schedule loss. It is what it is. That happens to good teams. Good teams lose scheduled games. Good teams lose on bad schedules. I don't know, man. The NHL's after us, okay?
But then they win
That's all I
almost
gotta
everything
say.
else. Yeah, but then they win almost everything else. And, the game against the Kraken, I've been calling the Kraken somewhat overrated. I thought they got kind of lucky last season. I like to see the Canucks prove me right on Saturday night. We'll see if that happens, and no matter what happens, we'll have you covered on the next episode of Locked On Canucks on Monday. Maybe even before then, who knows? Maybe a short game show on YouTube Shorts. Who knows? But for now, I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Cal Ballard, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.